can't do it, but there's some particular fear in them. But most of the things they read. Even if they do the practicals, their numbers, we don't get them to have it as it is going to happen here.
Through the next Einstein Forum's African Science Week celebration, students of Accra Girls SHS were granted practical skills using DEXT Technologies Science Set. Girls in the first year science class got the opportunity to perform about 80 experiments from diverse fields of study. Project coordinator for AIMS Ghana, Priscilla Sewajesi, is calling on other senior high schools to support the program to expose students to practical science education.
Because we came here because the school accepted for us to do here. So we plead that for other schools, it's just an opportunity. We don't take anything from you, we just need your involvement and the availability of your students. So get them involved for us to let them know the practicality of the science and STEM we've been talking about.
The African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, AIMS, with the support of Henry Luce Foundation, is rolling out Ghana's edition of the program. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture says it's committed to protecting the rights of creatives in Ghana. It will do this by making sure their works are properly safeguarded. Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Mark Okrekumante, made this known at the signing of an MOU between the Creative Arts Agency and Expertise France. There's more in the following report.
A memorandum of understanding has been signed between the Creative Arts Agency and Expertise France to support the expansion of the music industry in Ghana. Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okrekumante, says this initiative will go a long way to protect the creative space in Ghana.
Expertise France is here to help with getting the technology on board, sensitizing the industry people. The know-how is very important. Yes, we know up to a degree, but they are masters, they are experts. SACEM, which is the Collecting Society of France, has been around for so many years. They've made all their mistakes, they've polished their wrongs, and now they've become masters. It is only prudent that we engage them and we work with them, we collaborate and learn from them.
The Creative Arts Agency CEO, Jan Kroma Akufo-Addo, revealed that there would be capacity building to expose creatives to the gains in the industry.
I mean, we have to be able to make sure that our industry are all encompassed in understanding the knowledge of copyright, intellectual property. Right now, as it stands, our artists and our artists' works are not protected. So I think that it will be also a ripple effect on the professionality that we have for the music industry. These are steps towards digitizing GAMRO, and these are steps towards making sure that every single artist within Ghana understands how to own their work. Copyright and intellectual property.
Director of Sustainable Inclusive Economy at Expertise France, Sylvain Peters Destarach, says the partnership will ensure that property rights of creatives are duly protected.
The first and the main goal of this partnership is to work on property rights. So it's in order to give to the artists, Ghanaian artists, the power and the capability to live from their art.
The project, which starts in June 2023 and ends in June 2025, is funded by the French government. For JoyNews, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
That'll be it for the news here on the AM show. We will be back with the news review. Dr. Asante is my guest. Do stay.
Bro, see, with the EcoBank salary account, you will enjoy free life insurance, free debit card, save while you spend, and an amazing chance to double your salary, and even more consolation rewards in the EcoBank double salary promo reloaded. Vimwo.
Guy, this EcoBank salary account sounds interesting.
Open an EcoBank salary account today for a lifetime of benefits. You also stand a chance to win more than double your salary in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reloaded from now till July 31st. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is under the supervision of the National Lotteries Authority under the Caritas Lottery platform.
How do I acquire a litigation-free land or property in this country? Should I buy a house or go through the building process? If I should buy, what are the critical stages and pitfalls? If I should build, how do I get started? Registration of land, who can help me? Can I just draw my own plan and build? What are the steps in getting a building permit? Rising cost of building materials. Any other options? These artisans seems to be ripping me off my money. What can I do? For this and other building related issues, join Emmanuel Owusu-Ansah on the Pyramid Show every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on your favorite channel, JoyNews Television.
We have begun the One Village, One Dam initiative, and you here in Bogo can see for yourself. 570 are being built.
My people, wake up, wake up.
One Village, One Dam. After the fanfare, we go back to Ayopia in the Bongo district of the Upper East region, where it all started.
Somebody should be answering the questions. Why? What happened? We need to hold people accountable. We can't just say it has failed, therefore, that be it.
How much is the average cost of the dam?
It's from between 230 to 250,000. The highest is the 250,000.
But how much was really spent? Thirsty Dams, a JoyNews hotline documentary by Jojo Kobina. Coming soon.
Hello, good morning to you, and Barakah de Salah to all of our Muslim friends. And for those of you who are not Muslim, hope you're enjoying the holiday as well. If you just woke up and switched on your television, one of the biggest stories today is that James Chachukwueze has won the by-election in Asen North. Are you part of those who were surprised, or you expected it? Well, it's time to do a review, and joining me is Head of European Studies at the University of Ghana, political scientist Dr. Asante. Good morning to you, Doc. Would you say that this was what you expected, or you were surprised by the outcome of the by-election?
Good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
I did indicate on your network that Jachikwesin, even though I've not gone to the field to pick data, but looking at the the literature and then the issues on the ground, Jachikwesin had a slight edge over the NPP candidate, and that he will carry the day. It's a matter of I telling you that I told you so. Right. I was expecting such a result. Why? Let me begin by congratulating the NDC. Maybe Baraka Salah is in order for the NDC. And I also congratulate the MPP for, observing the rules of the game and abiding by the rules of elections. But I'll begin by saying that intimidation, harassment, lies, deception, bribery doesn't win anybody in a election. And it's playing out here. All right.
We're losing Doc there. It appears we are having a network challenge. We'll try and rectify that. You can hear the breakages in his sound there. But he was just reacting to James Jachikwesin's election or re-election. I'm careful to use the word re-election because the Supreme Court says his name should be expunged. So it meant that he was considered never elected or never served as an MP. So I'm just being careful in my choice of words there. But he says that this is no surprise to him. You may have realized on social media that pollster Ben Efsin was trending when the news of the polls or the results of the polls started trickling in, indicating that James Jachikwesin had an edge until the final declaration by the returning officer. And there were those who were, as usual, making fun of his prediction. Mr. Ben Efsin had predicted that the NPP will beat the NDC. In fact, he said that Mr. Charles Opoku was going to win by a 4-point margin. And as we all know, that didn't happen. So there's just been mixed reactions to this. When we're able to establish a better connection with Dr. Asante, I'll be finding out from him what his thoughts are concerning those who say that this is probably not a vote of confidence necessarily, but it was just people having sympathy for Mr. Jachikwesin, considering the ordeal he went through in court or is still currently going through. Dr. Asante, if you can hear me now, sorry we were losing you. The line was breaking. You were just ending that submission on your thoughts about the elections in Asen North.
Yes, I was saying that intimidation, lies, harassment, deception, bribery doesn't win anybody in an election. It is the power of the people that win election. And when people decide, it doesn't matter what, they will vote the way they want to vote. Look at the message of intimidation, that you go to jail. Yes, you intimidate people like that. They are not worried. They get to the poll and they are there alone in the booth with only God, and then they vote. They vote against you. Because there, they cannot feel the threats of intimidation. They are there alone and they have the right to exercise their minds. If you look at lies and deception, and of course, it played an important part of this. They were, making fun of him that he was, you heard statement to the effect that he even ran away from this country before going to Canada for certain things, and all manner of negative stories about him. But he didn't win those people anything. The issue of, yes, the two parties were guilty of what I'm going to say also, issue of bribing the electorate with resources, money, and whatnot. It doesn't win anybody any election. because otherwise we are saying that whenever there is election, the rich will always win. But it is not the case. What really won the election were one, issue of what I call RSM, resource, strategy, and message. The NDC were able to what? Have resources to be able to organize themselves very well. Yes, material resource, financial resource, they were resource to the extent that when you follow the TV discussions at the grounds, the election grounds, they were saying that they could see the NDC having resources to marshal all its forces to the place. And remember, they were able to do that and do that effectively by, marshaling resources. In terms of strategy, the NDC had a very effective strategy, the strategy of having an advance party to go there and survey the area and look at the needs of the people that constituency. Well, what we call what? The need, the specific constituency needs. They were able to, the advance party was able to pick that, and they were able to map a strategy that was consistent with the needs of the people, was also right for the people to follow, and the whole machinery of NDC was also moved there to follow up from what these people did, the advance party did. Another strategy for them was that they were able to also bring all their party apparatchiks, including the top guns, all of them there, and MPP also did the same. But you saw they were campaigning effectively for Jachikwese, that strategy, and it was a strategy of message. It was a strategy of hope. If you look at John Mahama, the things we were saying, he said, look, he's not going to jail. I mean, even though that was also another issue, he was drumming that, all right, because that was a very contentious issue. But look at it, he was saying that, yeah, he was not going to jail. He was there. He was just giving the message of what? Hope. Then you saw other party members also joining the fray. You have all their top guns going there. It's a big strategy. And then you also saw messages. What message did they send? They sent, if you look at the message were drawn from 3 or 4 areas. One, message of the economy. And I've said it time and again, that the economy is the most important factor of consideration for voters. And they played it in the Asen constituency. And that, yes, look at the government that has mismanaged the economy. Look at your economic condition. It's not anything to write home about. It's unfortunate and all that. They drum it effectively.
Doc, permit me to, sorry, Doc, if you can hear me, Doc.
Messages also hinges on what? The infrastructure development. They were recounting that all the monumental...
Hello, Doc, can you hear me?
If you allow me to land on this, then
all right.
I think I'll be able to make my point. They were also, talking about the issue of what? Infrastructure development, that the monumental work that have been done in that constituency. Yes, I can hear you. The monumental work that has been done, that the people should look at it and give them what? The mandate. And even where Jachikwese, according to them, has been denied of his, common fund and all that, he's been able to do a little from his own resources and all that. These were some of the messages. And another one was the message that, yes, he was not going to jail. And that was a message of hope for those who put him into office for the first time. So that one. I also listened to Esi Edunketia's message on the social media that, yes, when they bring money to you, take it because it's part of the state resources that they are abusing. Take your share and then vote against the NPP. You saw that even after the declaration of election, there were people who were jubilating and then chanting songs in this regard that we took your money, we spent it, we voted against you. So all these things played out effectively in Asen North. I must also say that NPP didn't go there folding their arms. They also worked. But if you look at the strategy of building infrastructure in the midnight, in the night, and all that, it was a message that was coming too late, and it was more of a deception that if you meant well for us, you won't bring development to us in the midnight and then or when a by-election is called. That one, people will put a propaganda spin on it and it will go against. And that is exactly that went against the NPP.
So my question to you was, Doc, that this same message about the economy was delivered in Kumewu by the NDC. What do you think made the difference in this particular election, just using that as a base point?
You see, we can look at it from various perspectives. If you look at the Kumewu was a stronghold of the NPP. And in stronghold, message doesn't really matter. People vote on one: party tradition, party ideology, party attachment. And there is also what we call tactical voting. Tactical voting is that I'll vote for my party. It doesn't matter the candidate. I'm going to vote for him or her. So people voted based on that. And then once it's a stronghold, it's a very difficult for an opposition party to penetrate. And that really worked the magic. But here, if you look at the constituency, it's a swing constituency. I'm sorry. And that each of the parties have equal strength. So it depends upon your ability to organize yourself well and your ability to have resources that you can deploy them effectively, and your ability to be able to marshal all your forces and work effectively. You remember the message of the NDC, the MPP, that he will go to jail. But if you look at even from 1951 election, Kwame Nkrumah was in jail when he won the election. He won the election. So I was also talking about that. If you bank your hopes on some of these messages, it's going to be a problem for you, because all that you need is that even if the person is not present at the constituency on the time of even the campaign and election, he has a solid team like what Nkrumah had in 51. He had the Botio, he had the Kroboduse, you have the Bakuns and the rest. They fought for Nkrumah, organized well for him. So if people will organize very effectively for Jachigwesen, it doesn't matter what you say. And because it's a swing constituency, any slight effort will also win him a favor. Remember that in the literature, you are made to know that when people put somebody into an office as an MP, all right, they want a full term of that person so as to be able to assess the candidate very well. What happened to him? The people will think that, yes, he has not completed his tenure. So, yes, let's give him the mandate again and see what he can be able to do, so as next time we can renew his mandate or throw him away. So from the word go, that is why I made the declaration that the NDC person has that slight edge to win the election. And events of yesterday have proved me right.
Would you agree with those who say, based on what you just said, that this is probably not a vote of confidence in Jachigwesen per se, but it's just about people being sympathetic towards him? Like you said, he's not completed his term, and also what he's going through, what he had to lose or give up in order to become an MP and all that. There are those who suggest that, well, we can't say that the people really love him per se, they're just expressing some sympathy through their votes.
You see, sympathy is not supported in any literature in what voting behavior. It's not true. When people tell you this, please, discount them. Otherwise, when we are saying, what we are saying is that anytime there is election and even somebody loses a relative and all that, or we lose even that candidate, and then there is another person coming in, you are likely to vote for the person or not. Sympathy, then you are saying that as soon as you are campaigning and there is death, the person who is dead, his party will rather gain. But it's not true. We saw the issue of Nana Kunedu Ajman Rawlings, unfortunately, during the last election, that he lost the husband, but he never won the election. So sympathy doesn't come in at all. People vote based on what we call the rational choice theory. According to Dan and Co., that people vote based on what they would derive from the benefit they would derive from that individual who is standing as a candidate. And people realize that this is Jachi Kwesen, who was living comfortably in Canada and renounces, nationality to want to contest here, and there was a problem. So they realized that there's somebody who has really dedicated himself to them, because otherwise he was living well. Why would he want to come and renounce his nationality only to come here and face problems and all that? So all these things were part of what the rational thinking, and it dovetails into the rational choice theory. Another thing that also went in their favor was the issue of tactical voting. And that, yes, we are voting for NDC, not necessarily the Achikwesen, but that we want our party to win, so as to teach the government a lesson or send a message, strong message that, look, the government is losing the grounds, and that look at even a swing constituency where the real power of whichever party is strong will show we have won it. And it becomes what? A campaign tool as we move on into the 2024 election. So things that won him the election is his popularity and his desire to serve his people in spite of the difficulties he's going through. And then two, tactical voting ideas that also were able to push into the campaign analysis and then campaign program itself, and then issue of the fact that he's yet to complete his tenure. Let him go through the full hawk, and then we can assess him and the rest of them. So it's a mixture of factors that really came to play, and it won him the day.
Earlier, you commended the NDC for their strategy in winning this, and we'll be delving into other stories on making headlines on our websites. It's a holiday. We usually don't get the papers on holidays. But wrapping up on this Asen North by-election, there are those who have commended the NDC for their quick collation of results. You know, over the years, they've been condemned for not having the ability to do that compared to what the MPP is able to do. But this time around, we saw that they quickly did it. In fact, my colleague who's on the ground was asking them what this is indicative of looking forward to the 2024 elections. And the party's General Secretary, Fifi Kwete, said the party had learned from its mistakes and was going to do things better. Your quick thoughts on the general attitude of the NDC and its ability to show us what is likely to happen in 2024?
Yes, it is. You can use it as a general barometer for 2024 election, but there's something to learn from this. That the NDC learned bitterly from the last election, where they themselves said that their system broke down and the rest of them and all that. You can't continue to hang on to such an excuse in election. It's a serious business. You either taste little or taste north, right? So they needed to learn, and they have learned how to employ technology to be able to galvanize support and able to get their resources together effectively for an effective results. You saw that, I'm sorry, a few hours, a few minutes, let me put it, a few minutes after the election, they started jubilating. And then later, a few, maybe 1 hour or so, you saw Sami Gyamfi coming on to telling the public that they have, got all their figures. Most of them, they had the 70 pink sheets in their hands. They've been able to gather a lot of data and all that. It tells you that they have put in a technology that is working for them. And all political parties need that if you really want to be abreast with the changing circumstances of the time, so as to be able to map up a strategy using technology. And that is what will work for them. Going into 2024, I expect them to also employ that strategy and expand its frontiers to the 275 constituencies and then make sure that it is foolproof and it is very robust. Because this one is a one constituency, but we are talking about 275. It is a big one, and that they need to also factor into that so as to be able to track the process and then inject energy where the need arises. And one thing that in my submission I forgot that also won them the day was the issue of this type of the policing of the system, as they ferried all the party bigwigs into the place. They were able to police the system so effectively, and we realized that it prevented all manner of aberrations that normally happen in elections. It's not only them, the NPP as well. So policing is key. Going into 2024, the big task ahead of them is that how are they going to mobilize resources? They should be able to do that and mobilize human beings that are committed into doing their work and making sure that they police the system and that they will not jump into the street and be jubilating whilst the collation is happening in other places. Later, I heard Sami Demfi, urging his party people that yes, stop jubilating, follow the process, and then let's shepherd the whole process to the time that the Electoral Commission will declare the process. That is the spirit of any election. That vigilance is the price of liberty. You should be vigilant about all the effort you have done by shepherding the process from constituency to the coalition center, to the regional center, to the national and all that. And once you get the basics right, I can say without fear of contradiction, you are home and dry.
Doc, we'll be delving more into the Asen North by-elections later on the show. Let's do other headlines on our portals. And on myjawline.com, subnational stakeholders sensitized on green GDP. Let's just look through the others quickly. We also have the climate crisis is biting and African editors cannot sit aloof. Okay, so the month of June has been dedicated to that. And I wasn't ready, but I told you to keep it. Sarkodie replies Yvonne Nelson on abortion claim. I don't know if you've been following that particular story, Doc, and your quick thoughts on that. The book, I Am Yvonne Nelson, and the claims that she was impregnated by the musician, driven to the abortion center, was left on her own. Well, we now have a reply from Sarkodie who says, I wasn't ready, but I told you to keep it. Have you been following this story, and what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry. I have